Baseball fans, buckle up. You've heard of heated rivalries, but this one? It's practically a family feud that's about to erupt onto the grandest stage of them all. We're talking about two iconic franchises, separated by a mere 90 miles, with a history so intertwined it's almost poetic. This isn't just another postseason series. This is the National League Division Series, Cubs versus Brewers. And trust me, you are not going to want to miss a single pitch. From manager drama to statistical dead heats, this matchup has everything a baseball purist could dream of. So grab your popcorn, because on Baseball Extra, we're diving deep into every angle of this epic clash that's sure to deliver some unforgettable postseason baseball moments. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Baseball Extra, everyone. Today, we're dissecting a series that has all the makings of an instant classic, the Chicago Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers in the NLDS. This isn't just any playoff series. It's a chapter in one of baseball's most passionate regional rivalries. Think about it. Wrigley Field and American Family Field are practically next-door neighbors, just 90 miles apart. That's a quick hour and a half drive for fans eager to cross enemy lines. You could bike it in about 8 hours if you're feeling ambitious, or perhaps even attempt a one-footed hop if you really wanted a challenge. Though I wouldn't recommend it for a 40-minute show. But the proximity does more than just make for easy travel. It fuels an already intense NL Central rivalry. This isn't just about winning games. It's about bragging rights, about neighborhood pride, and about proving who truly owns the division. For years, these two clubs have battled fiercely, often with significant postseason implications, but never before have they met head-to-head in October. This is uncharted territory for both franchises, and that adds an entirely new layer of excitement and unpredictability. It's truly a monumental moment for both fan bases. Now, let's talk about the masterminds in the dugouts, because this series features one of the most compelling managerial storylines in recent memory. We have Craig Counsell, now at the helm for the Cubs, facing off against Pat Murphy, his former bench coach and now the manager of the Brewers. Think about that for a second. Counsell spent 9 incredible seasons as the Brewers skipper, transforming them into a perennial contender. He cultivated that team, built those relationships, and established a winning culture. And then, he made the monumental decision to cross the rivalry divide and join the Cubs. This isn't just a friendly reunion. It's a strategic showdown. Counsell knows the Brewers roster, their tendencies, their strengths, and their weaknesses inside and out. He helped develop many of those players. On the flip side, Pat Murphy, having worked alongside Counsell for so long, understands Craig's strategic mind, his decision-making process, and how he approaches a playoff series. This is a high-stakes chess match played by two men who know each other's moves intimately. How will Counsell use his insider knowledge against his former team? Will Murphy anticipate Counsell's strategies, knowing his former mentor so well? This dynamic adds an incredible layer of intrigue that goes beyond just the players on the field. It's a battle of wits, a test of loyalty, and a fascinating subplot that will undoubtedly shape the narrative of this entire NLDS. Every pitching change, every pinch hit, every defensive alignment will be analyzed through the lens of this unique managerial connection. Looking at the broader picture, these two teams are incredibly evenly matched. In the 2025 season series, the Cubs edged out the Brewers, winning 7-6. That's about as close as it gets, highlighting the intense competition we've seen all year. But the statistical parity goes even deeper than that. Throughout their entire history of playing against each other, the Brewers hold the slightest of advantages, with 230 wins to the Cubs' 226. We are talking about a difference of just 4 games over decades of competition. This historical context underscores just how evenly balanced these two franchises are, making this postseason encounter even more tantalizing. The fact that this is their very first time meeting in the postseason truly elevates the stakes. This isn't a rematch of a previous playoff series. It's a brand new chapter being written. There are no historical playoff narratives to lean on, only the raw excitement of an inaugural clash. It means both teams will be playing with an extra fire, wanting to be the one to set the precedent in this burgeoning playoff rivalry. Every pitch, every at-bat, every defensive play will be amplified by this unprecedented situation. For baseball fans, this is what October is all about. All right, let's dive into the pitching matchups, starting with the Milwaukee Brewers. They likely hold a distinct advantage, particularly in Game 1, with Freddie Peralta taking the mound. Peralta had a truly career-best season, boasting an impressive 17-6 record with a stellar 2.70 ERA and racking up a whopping 204 strikeouts. He's not just good, he's been dominant and will undoubtedly garner significant Cy Young Award consideration. What's more, He's proven to be a Cub killer in 2025, going 3-1 against them with a solid 3.43 ERA. His confidence against this specific lineup will be a huge factor. He's the ace, and he's ready to set the tone. Following Peralta, the Brewers can turn to Quinn Priester, who also had an excellent season with a 13-3 record and a 3.32 ERA. That's a formidable 1-2 punch that could give the Brewers a significant edge in the initial games of the series. They're both power arms capable of shutting down potent defenses. Beyond their top two, things get a bit more interesting for Milwaukee. Veteran Jose Quintana has had another solid season and provides a steady, experienced presence. But the big question mark, and a potential game changer, is the status of Brandon Woodruff. He's been out with a lat strain, and while there's always a glimmer of hope for a heroic return, it's looking more unlikely. Pat Murphy has remained tight-lipped, not revealing any details, which suggests they're either holding out hope or keeping the Cubs guessing. If Woodruff somehow makes it back, even in a limited capacity, it would drastically alter the outlook for the Brewers' rotation. However, for now, we're operating under the assumption he won't be a factor, which puts more pressure on their established arm and potentially opens the door for a deeper dive into their bullpen. Speaking of the bullpen, Milwaukee's relief corps has been exceptionally strong all year, acting as a true lockdown unit. They recently welcomed back fireballer Trevor M.C. Gill, who adds another high-leverage arm. And then there's the rising star, Abner Ure, who has been lights out. But the real wild card, the true X factor that could completely swing momentum, is Jacob the Miz Mazevsky. This man throws gas faster than Vin Diesel drives a car in Fast and Furious. Well, almost. His velocity is insane, and his stuff is electric. The question is how Pat Murphy will deploy him. Could he be a weapon out of the bullpen in high-leverage situations? A multi-inning stopper? A long reliever if a starter gets into trouble? Murphy has hinted he's leaning towards putting him on the roster. And if Mazevsky can harness that incredible power, he could be the difference maker. This is postseason baseball, and those high-velocity, unpredictable arms often steal the show. Now, let's turn our attention to the Chicago Cubs pitching staff. While their starting rotation might not boast the same top-tier star power as the Brewers, they are a solid, capable group. Craig Counsell, true to form, hasn't announced a Game 1 starter as of our latest update here on Baseball Extra, keeping everyone on their toes. However, it's widely expected that Colin Ray or Javier Assad will get the nod to kick things off. Both have had respectable seasons and are capable of giving the Cubs quality innings. Following them, the rotation will likely feature Matthew Boyd and Shota Imanaga. These are all fairly solid starters who rely on good command and inducing weak contact, rather than overpowering hitters. What truly elevates the Cubs' pitching, however, is the elite defense playing behind them. This isn't just good defense. It's arguably the best in the National League. Up the middle, you have the double-play tandem of Dansby Swanson at shortstop and Nico Horner at second base, two of the absolute best glovemen in the entire game. Their range, their instincts, and their ability to turn difficult plays into outs are simply incredible. In left field, the Cubs boast multiple Gold Glovers in Ian Happ. And then there's Pete Crow Armstrong in center field, who is quite simply one of the best defenders in all of baseball. He makes the spectacular look routine on a daily basis, covering immense ground and robbing opposing hitters of extra base hits with astonishing regularity. This incredible defense allows the Cubs pitchers to attack the zone with confidence, knowing that even if contact is made, there's a strong chance it will be turned into an out. It's a symbiotic relationship that makes the Cubs a tough team to score against. Out of the bullpen, the Cubs also have some strong arms. Jamison Talon can provide valuable long relief, offering flexibility if a starter struggles. Their top relievers, Daniel Palencia and Brad Keller, are expected to be deployed in the highest leverage situations and match up well against the Brewers' bats, perhaps lacking some of the raw firepower of Milwaukee's relief corps, but making up for it with consistency and pinpoint accuracy. And let's not forget the 38-year-old veteran Caleb Thalbar, who has been absolutely tremendous, putting up a stellar 2.64 ERA over 67 appearances. His experience and steady presence will be crucial in the late innings. Shifting gears to offense, the Brewers and Cubs are remarkably similar in the number of runs they scored during the 2025 season. Milwaukee holds a slight, almost negligible, 13-run advantage over the entire season. However, where the Cubs truly differentiate themselves is in their power numbers. Chicago hit significantly more home runs than the Brewers, with 223 long balls compared to Milwaukee's 166. And as we all know here on Baseball Extra, home runs tend to matter a lot more in October when pitching is tighter and runs are harder to come by. A single swing can change the entire complexion of a game, and the Cubs have more players capable of delivering that kind of impact. In fact, the Cubs were the best defensive team in the NL by Team OPS+, a critical advanced metric that adjusts for ballpark and league average. This indicates that their offense, as a collective unit, was incredibly productive and efficient. Looking at key individual performances for the Cubs, Seiya Suzuki has been absolutely red hot coming into this series. In the wildcard series, he mashed a homer and 2 doubles, showcasing his ability to deliver clutch hits. If he stays locked in, he could be a huge factor. Pete Crow Armstrong, despite tailing off a bit in the second half of the season, came alive in the wild card finale, collecting 3 crucial hits. If he can recapture that offensive spark and pair it with his elite defense, he becomes an even more dangerous weapon. And then there's the X factor, Kyle Tucker. He struggled with injuries throughout the year, but there's a feeling within the Cubs organization that he might be morphing back into his MVP-level self. If Tucker can find his stride and produce at the plate, it will provide a massive boost to an already potent lineup. For the Brewers, they need to generate power, and much of that will fall on Bryce Terang, who showed flashes of it in the second half, doubling his home run total from before the All-Star break. Andrew Vaughn is another slugger they'll be looking to for significant offensive contributions. And finally, the intriguing question for Milwaukee: can playoff Jackson Chourio make an appearance once again? Last October, Chourio had a fantastic wild card series against the Mets, recording 5 hits in just 11 at-bats, including 2 homers and 3 RBIs. That kind of clutch performance from a young star would be invaluable for the Brewers in this series. His ability to elevate his game in the bright lights of the postseason is something to watch for. One thing we know for sure about this series, here on Baseball Extra, is that both teams will be aggressively stealing bases. They were the top 2 base stealing teams in the National League by a significant margin. The Brewers led the NL with 164 stolen bases, with the Cubs right on their heels at 161. So keep your eyes glued to those runners leading off first base, because both teams will be looking to put pressure on the opposing pitcher in defense, create scoring opportunities, and turn singles into doubles or even triples. Base running will be a crucial element, and a stolen base in a tight game could be the difference maker. So, who's going to win this epic NLDS clash? This is a series that, in all likelihood, will go the full 5 games in this best-of-5 format. The teams are simply too evenly matched across the board. Their defenses are stellar, their base running is aggressive, and even their pitching staffs, while having different strengths, are more or less in the same arena together, capable of delivering dominant performances. However, when it comes down to it, the Chicago Cubs' high-powered and often clutch offense might just be too much for the Brewers to handle over a 5-game stretch, particularly if Brandon Woodruff isn't available in the rotation. The Cubs' ability to hit home runs and generate extra base hits in key moments could tip the scales in their favor. It's going to be a grueling, intense series, but my prediction for Baseball Extra is that you can start building those beer snakes, because we're heading to Wrigley Field for a decisive Game 5. Prediction: Cubs in 5. And onto the NLCS. What do you think, Baseball Extra fans? Are the Cubs poised to advance, or will the Brewers defy expectations? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown and want more exclusive baseball analysis, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow baseball fanatics, and most importantly, subscribe to Baseball Extra so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. We'll be covering every angle of the postseason, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.